News 4 at 6, live with breaking news.
What a judge says the TBI agents found inside this man's semi is sparking renewed fears that he has other victims.
We are uncovering more information by the minute about a truck driver charged with kidnapping.
The News 4i team first reported that a large number of bloody women's underwear was also found inside his truck. The latest now from our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley.
Well, Tom, up until today, all we had was a TBI statement that they developed information to suggest a semi-truck driver, Roy Nelsh, may be connected to additional crimes with additional victims. Tonight, what he did when he was arrested led a local police chief to suspect more trouble was ahead. It's May 22nd, and not long after Roy Nelsh is accused of picking up a woman in his semi, kidnapping and handcuffing her, vowing to rape her and keep her for days, the Coopertown Police Chief Tyler Haley hears to be on the lookout for that semi. The woman says she had escaped by wriggling one hand free from the handcuffs and fighting back. Haley then spotted the semi in Springfield, and when backup arrived, he pulled the truck over. When he got out of that truck, what were you thinking?
He actually came out of the truck with his hands up already in the air, so I really wasn't nervous or scared because I think he already knew what was going on because he got out of the truck with his hands up.
Haley's suspicions grew when he went inside the cab of the semi.
I did find a loaded weapon in the cab, as well as blood in the back compartment of the dashboard and sun visor.
The TBI then needed a Nashville judge to sign a search warrant. Judge Mark Fishburne confirms he signed it after reading the woman's affidavit, and when the agent described finding a large number of bloody women's underwear in the cab.
I noticed there was multiple pieces of women's clothing. Part of that search, what they were wanting to do was DNA analysis on all the stuff that they had found during the consent search.
Roy Nelsh remains in the Montgomery County Jail on that kidnapping charge. His court-appointed attorney had no comment today. The TBI also isn't commenting further, only saying they want people to reach out to them if they know any information about Roy Nelsh. Tracy.
Truly disturbing.
Tonight, a maintenance worker is in Osceola County Jail accused of rape.
Investigators say the victim was an elderly woman who needed the suspect to fix something in her apartment. This happened in Kissimmee last Wednesday, and the apartment complex is located on Simpson Ridge Circle in between US 192 and the Turnpike. West 2's Michelle Meredith is joining us live. And Michelle, the sheriff held a news conference earlier. What happened?
Well, according to the sheriff, during the rape, the alleged suspect kept telling his victim that he loved her. The sheriff called it all very sick. At the Simpson Ridge apartment complex in Kissimmee, news that a maintenance worker has been accused of raping a tenant left this woman, who also lives there, speechless. She is 70 years old.
Oh, my Lord.
According to deputies, 42-year-old Freddie LaFuente was at the victim's apartment to make a repair. They talked. Then, according to deputies, LaFuente attempted to kiss her. The victim demanded he stop, but instead, he allegedly raped the 70-year-old woman, all the while telling her that he loved her. After he left, the victim said she passed out on the bathroom floor. According to deputies, at some point, the woman's granddaughter came to the apartment to see her. She knocked on the door. Her grandmother didn't answer. She thought that was very odd because her grandmother is a light sleeper. Eventually, she went to the front office to get help getting into her grandmother's apartment. And according to deputies, Freddie himself volunteered. And deputies say it was Freddie LaFuente who eventually let the victim's granddaughter into the apartment, where she'd found her grandmother on the bathroom floor with no clothes on, partly in the bathtub with her head laying on the toilet.
He seemed like a normal fella, just like a regular person. I cannot understand or believe that.
LaFuente was actually out of jail on probation for a prior felony, accused of basically beating a man to a pulp in 2018. Why was he working as a maintenance man in the first place? Recently, after Mia Marcano was murdered at the hands of the maintenance man at her Orlando complex, the state drafted a law to try to prevent this.
Anybody that's employing people in any capacity, it's their responsibility to do thorough background checks.
Now, this law has passed the Senate and is making its way through the House, and La Fuente is back in jail, this time with no bond. Live in Osceola County, Michelle Meredith, West 2 News.